So for me personally, I work in Burbank, and then for me the drive is straightforward, except when 405 is blocked, which is every day. And so sometimes you can cut through from in between, taking some other road through the hills. But and I live in the north in Valencia, and that's a long drive. But again, it's either after class in the evening when it's not much traffic. And compared to that, some of my classmates came as far away from San Jose or San Diego, and then Jill, my group mate, she used to commute from Ventura. And that's a long, long drive. Always amazed at how people are able to do that. And it's just incredible. So I think there are a couple of people in our group who came from San Jose once, and then we tried to be understanding of that. And it's a long, long, long commute. And we try to be as accommodating as possible. And the school helps that, actually. Initially, we used to have classes starting at 8 in the morning, and I think they have changed the time to allow the people to drive from the airport back here, and so I think that's been a good change.
I mean, you pick up practical stuff, I think. You know, the drive is the drive, and being in LA is probably more difficult in terms of driving than most other places, but you figure things out. For me, because I've a lot of times I work on my own, or I have project work, or I can bring it with me, I try to come earlier. So if I have a 4 o'clock class, I might get here at 1 o'clock because there isn't traffic. There's literally like a 35, 40-minute window during the day when there isn't any traffic in LA. So I drive it and I bring my work with me, and there are plenty of places to work here. There are computer labs, both FEMBA computer labs specifically for us and the OP MBA, the EMBA folks, as well as for people at Anderson generally. So there's plenty of room to work. You always find people on their cell phones walking around doing conference calls. So there's a lot to do. I think that for me has been the most practical tip, and it's just, you know, that plus finding all the canyon routes. And I think I know 6 of them now. happy to tell anybody offline.
So I live and work in Thousand Oaks, Westlake. So for me, the commute to work is really nothing. So all I have to deal with is school, which at certain times it's absolutely horrendous coming down the 101 and then coming through the 405. But I've tried to do the same thing that Hovig does, is I'll come to school early. I'll leave as early as I can from work if I don't have any meetings, and then just bring my work with me and come into class and just finish up anything else I need to do for work, and really just try and avoid the traffic. I mean, having a 7 o'clock class and coming from that area is really the worst time. After 3 years, you really learn what time you need to leave by, and that even if it's 5 minutes later sometimes, that could mean another half an hour to 40 minutes in traffic. So you really learn how to judge it, and then you also get used to it. And the last 2 quarters for me, I've taken both of my elective courses on the same day. So especially with gas prices rising, and I drive an SUV, so it's not the most friendly vehicle, having both my classes on the same day has really helped in that regard with the commuting. But you get used to it after a while, and if you can find classmates that live or work in the same area. I know for a couple of quarters I commuted with one of my classmates who worked in the same area, which worked out really well because we would take turns driving, and then you have somebody to talk to on the ride home at 10:30 at night, which is always helpful.
Yeah, I think, and one of the things that Anderson did a while ago, they started taping classes. So I remember it was my first quarter actually when we were taking Dr. DeBush's class, and before the final I had downloaded it onto a CD and I was listening to his booming voice driving over here. So you learn to kind of prioritize. If you know you're going to drive for 30, 40 minutes, might as well beef up on a few of the economics concepts before walking into the final. So stuff like that helps.
And I bought a hybrid car when I joined, so that
I'm about
helped.
to. Yeah.